Is it time to make a video? I think it's time to make a video. I got the space heater going because it's like 30 degrees colder than it was yesterday. Alright. Yeah, I went from like 86 down to 56. Anyway, I got a bunch of heat treats. I need to put another one in today, but what I'm looking for, or what I wanted to start on today, was the ranch rock. I think I have some in here. I got projects to work on. I got some ranch rock that I got while I was hunting. This has already been heated to 400 degrees. So if I can't find any more in here, I thought I had heat treated a bunch of it. But apparently I didn't stick it in here. This is some really bad Texas stuff in the raw state, but I think it'll nap well, or well enough. Is this ranch rock? I tried to label it all. Anyway, I'm just gonna wing it. I got some colorful stuff. I don't know where I got this from. Let's see. I think it might be Texas rock. Unusual variety of it. Yeah. Look at that. Cool stuff. I was thinking of doing all my projects off camera so that it doesn't take me forever. But then I don't do no videos. I don't do any videos if I start working on my projects off camera. I can't find it. I don't know if that's it or not. I'm looking for the ones I labeled. This is all crud rock. Well, most of it anyway. This is good stuff, I think. Let me see. Oh, yes. Beauty. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's quite a difference. If I can get a good spot to remove a flake, it might have defects. Yeah, it heated up real nice, but it might have defects. Which means when I get down to the nitty gritty, it might not nap well. You know, it might snap. Okay. Sometimes what I do is I separate. When I finish the heat treat, I'll separate out what I wanted to work on specifically. So I might have already taken the ranch rock out of here and then forgot where I put it. This looks like a piece of ranch rock. Yeah. If that's what it becomes, this will be awesome. Yeah, if it becomes that. Well, if I separate it, where'd it go? This is not it. No. I don't know. Dang it. I don't know. Some of it got ruined with the heat at 400. So Texas rock is highly unpredictable. Anyway, I can't find the ranch rock in this batch. I gotta find it, but I'll just work with what I have for now. Oh yes, wait a second. I heat treated some of that jasper that I made the jasper point out of. I don't know what it looks like. Let's see. Very interesting. Okay. All right. So that was not productive. I don't know where that rock went that I heat treated. I took it out already and I already lost it in one of my boxes. So I'm just going to nap this. Yep. Okay. Alright. I got a lot of stuff to do. I don't know if I'll capture all the projects. If it starts getting to where I can't capture all the projects on video, I gotta do a lot of stuff off camera. Yeah. I wasted some time today cooking up some deer meat. Well, I wasted time yesterday too. It's not really a waste, but you know what I mean. Right now I'm boiling it like stew meat with spices and stuff. It's coming out really good as a stew meat. So I've got some neck bones and stuff. The neck bones are difficult to get the meat off of, so I put those in first. Meat comes off very easily after boiling for a while. About 4 hours. It's good stuff. And then I'll get into the other meats, and then I've got the backstrap frozen so I can. So I have some time to look up some recipes. I know you're not supposed to cook it very long, but there's rubs and stuff that I might want to make for the deer meat, for the backstrap. We'll see. I can cook it over the grill, but I've done that before, so I want to try something else. Okay. This ranch rug is not consistent. Some of it naps well, some of it doesn't. But what's interesting is you can tell that Native Americans had tested this stuff, because there are some nodules you can clearly see evidence of people knocking off flakes. There's cores on that property. And I picked up a few. And I'm going to heat treat them and nap them down. It's not that fun to nap this stuff in the raw state. Yeah, it's napped so much better heat treated. Nice. So this is kind of also a test to see if this is snapping halfish when heat treated or if it's normal. It doesn't gloss up all that much, but it does get slightly waxy. And I'll be using this and similar rocks to do the open fire heat treats now that the weather has cooled down, probably for a while now. It's not going to heat up again. I thought I was going to be able to have some time out in the cool weather, but no, it heated up again. It got into the 80s, so I wasn't able to do the open fire heat treat with the camera because the camera overheats. If I have it next to the fire, like from here to that box, it's only like 3 feet. If I have it like that close, the heat from the fire will overheat the camera, the phone camera. But now it's cooler, so don't have no excuses. Alright, what do I do now? This is going to be the same color as the background, so what I need to do is put down a different color. My green, blue, blue, green towel. Or some people say it's gray. Yeah. Those are the colorblind guys. Okay. It does not look gray to me, so I'm not that colorblind. Is it green? Green. Yeah. Okay. I got a hot plate set up for my hot liquids. I got a soup back there, right next to me, behind me, so no flakes go in there, theoretically. Yeah. Okay, where to go? Alrighty. Yeah, I'm not finding anything like this on the ranch, you know, these little preforms. Nothing like this. It's all kind of chunky stuff. You know, I'm finding these kind of things on the ranch. No artifacts as far as identifiable points or anything either. I did find some telegraph pole insulators. A couple of them. Last time I was out there looking for chert. I call that railroad obsidian because you can nap the telegraph insulators, or they used to anyway. Used to nap those into arrowheads. The Native Americans steal the telegraph pole insulators, nap them into arrowheads. Yeah, railroad obsidian. It's hard to do because there's not a straight section on there or a flat section. It's all curved. It's thick, so there's plenty of room to work with, but it's all rounded. So I'll show you. I've got broken insulator glass that I can nap, that no one's gonna worry that we're losing out on money because collectors like to collect those insulators. I'm not gonna nap or break a whole one. Nope. I gave those to the property owner. He was tickled pink. Right? Right. That's the expression. Grinds down easy. This stuff grinds down easy. That's good. It's a good thing. It also crushes easily. That's not a good thing. Why is it good when it grinds down easy? It's good because you don't have to spend too much time grinding. Yeah. I can probably turn off the space heater because I'm going to reach the sweat stage pretty soon anyway. Yeah. The stress and anxiety is going to provide its own heat. Oh yeah. See, I don't know the limits of the stone yet. I did nap one piece raw into a Frio style point. How did I miss this part? Yeah, this is good all-purpose stone, you know. I'm glad that the ranch has this kind of stone where it's not finicky. It is a little bit inconsistent, but it's not bad. And I consider it all-purpose because you can be a beginner or advanced and still appreciate it. But it's got to be heat treated. Yeah, 400 degrees, 5 hours. Yeah. What am I going to make? We shall see. Ooch, that was risky. I could feel that really tug on it that time. But, you know, when it tugs on it a lot, sometimes it snaps in half. But it's thinning well. Okay. Yeah. Thinning quite well. Oh yeah, I know what I was thinking about earlier today. Thinking about topics. You know, before I do videos, I think about topics. And I know what I was going to talk about. I'm going to start making some bone points. Right? Which reminds me, I didn't show you what I got. I got backstrap and stuff. Now, I got two kinds of backstrap. I don't know if you know what I mean. This comes off of the actual meat. This is the silver skin backstrap sinew off the backstraps, you know, the meat. One for each side on the deer. And these are what? How long? You don't get a full length strip off of this. But let's just measure just to get an idea. Yeah, 18 inches at least. See? All the way to the tip of that to the tip of this is like 20. But you don't get super long pieces out of it, I don't think. Anyway, I got two of those. And then I get, when I go close to the spine, there's more of these tendons on each side, close to the spine, that are not attached to the meat. And these are pretty good. You know, you just pull them off the spine and then cut them because they're attached. They're attached to the spine. Now, I think these are great for hafting. Yeah. It looks like the same, it looks like the proper thickness for hafting at little dart points that I've seen in the archaeological record. Yeah. See that? Now, the one question I have about this is I've seen these for sale, and other guys have given me backstraps and other sinews, and they're all yellow. Mine tend to be blood-stained and red. Even though they start out looking like they're white in color, they end up being this orangey and reddish looking. I can't get them to be amber yellow like some of my friends get them. And I've taken showers and I've also washed my hands I don't know how many times, and my cuticles or my fingernails are still blood stained. Yeah. I had my hands in the butchering, and my cuticles are still, or whatever that gap is in there, still blood stained. How many days does it take to get out? I forgot. So if any of you guys know how to get that sinew nice and amber colored, if I'm missing something, let me know. Or maybe everybody starts that way. You have to bleach them. They're cheating because they're bleaching those sinews with hydrogen peroxide or something. That's cheating. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I got blood all over everything. I'm wearing my steel toes today. I was supposed to move a lot of rock looking for stuff for my projects. And I still got guts and blood on these. Well, I shouldn't say guts, but you know what I mean. Gore. Still got gore on these. But my steel toes are actually warmer than my regular shoes. I don't know why. So 2 reasons why I have my steel toes. 1, I was going to move rocks, and 2, they're warmer. Yep. And maybe because they have foam inside the toe. There's some foam there between the steel and your toes. A piece of foam came out the other day, and I'm saying, where did that come from? Probably from the tip of the toe on the inside. Oh, dang. Ah, yes, it's a pocket. Crystal pocket, see? Dang it. Okay. I don't like wiping out the corners because for this particular arrowhead type, I'm going to need a corner. I'm going to need the corners. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about something, right? Yeah, I was thinking about making bone arrowheads. I got distracted. I got a leg bone. Again, it's all covered with blood. I smoked it. I put it in the barbecue grill and smoked it for a couple hours to dry it out. And it's been sitting out there drying. So that's what all the bones that I collected look like this. I gotta boil them, I guess, and then scrape them. But anyway, this is the part I make arrowheads from. This flat part on either side. See how that works? And you just take a stone, a flake of nasty chert that you don't want to use for anything else, and you score it right where that crease is on both sides. And you can split it into two halves. And I guess there's marrow in there you can get out. Anyway, you can make like 1, 2, 3 arrowheads per side. And there's other stuff you can make. You can make bone needles and bone hairpins and all kinds of stuff. And deer bone is nice to work with. I actually like working with deer bone. So I'm thinking, now if you made one of these things out of deer bone, it looks just like this, but it's made of bone. Do you call it the same thing? Like, do you call it a Madison, but it's just a bone Madison point? Yes? Yeah. You'd call it the same, regardless if it's made of stone or bone. If it's the same shape, the same morphology in archaeological terms, it's that type of point. If you find it together with other points made of stone that look the same, they're all Madison points, whether they're bone or stone, right? Now, does that apply to, let's say, Clovis? What if you found a bone Clovis? Clovis made out of bone. Do you call it a Clovis? It's the same shape. It's got the thin flute-like center. Same exact shape. It's sharpened on the edge but ground down on the sides. Everything's the same as a Clovis. Is it a Clovis? Or does Clovis have to be made out of stone and made with a certain technique in order to be Clovis? Because some people say, well, if you're not doing certain procedures, you're not making Clovis. Yeah, well, I can prove that that's wrong if there's a bone Clovis and you're calling it a Clovis. Just because you're not doing a certain procedure with stone, just because you're not doing it, that doesn't mean it's not a Clovis. Because there's bone Clovises, or there could be. Or if there was, you would call it a Clovis. It's not the procedure that makes the point. It's the point itself. It's the morphology of the finished point that makes it that point. Right? Yes. So I can prove it's not the procedure that makes the Clovis. It's the shape, the final shape. As an example. Same with the Madison. If a Madison is made of bone, looks just like this, then it's a Madison made of bone. It's not something else. It's not a Badison. And it's not a Blovis. If it's made of bone, it's not a Blovis. And if it's a Madison made of bone, it's not a Badison. Right? Right. Some of you guys, yeah, you're just showing your stupidity. Okay, I'm showing my stupidity, but answer the question. Is it a Clovis or not? Or is it a Madison or not? If it's made of bone. Answer the question. My answer is yes, it is. It is the type as long as it is morphologically correct. Is morphologically a word? Yeah. It's not the procedure that makes the point. It's the final shape. It's the final technology. Yeah. That's it. I'm going to explore that by making bone points. I can get my hands on a lot of deer bone now, whereas in the past I was not able to get my hands on it without spending a ton of money. Now I can get them because they're being thrown away. I can't get that many, but I can get enough to make points out of it. Yeah. Now, did they make a bone version of every point style? I don't know. It's an unanswerable question because you don't know if the bones have been melted away, or not melted away, but deteriorated to the point where they're gone. We can't see them. Another interesting question is, if you make them out of bone, are you going to make them into a different shape every time than the stone points? Like, there's some Cahokia bone points, right? They don't necessarily look like the stone points. They look a little bit different. The Cahokia bone points look a little different than the Cahokia stone points. The traditional 3-notch Cahokias. They don't look exactly like the bone ones that they found. So do they make the bone ones look a little bit different? So you call them Bahokias? Bone Cahokias? I don't know. Or do you call them Cahokias? I think it's the latter. Yeah. So what's the moral of a story? It's not the procedure that makes it that type of point. It's the final shape. And what I mean by final shape is the outline, the thickness, and the hafting characteristics. The blade flaking has nothing to do with it. And material has nothing to do with it. Because if it's a bone Clovis, the surface of the bone is going to be smooth, unless you put scalloped edges or intentionally put striations or divots into the surface, but it doesn't match the flaking pattern of a stone point, right? So it's not the flaking, it's not the material, it's the overall shape and the hafting area and the function. That's what makes it that style. All right, that's my opinion. It's subject to review and criticism. I will take any criticism that you have for that position. If you want to comment. All the guys that I've seen that say it's the procedure as well as the shape that determines it. There's going to be crickets from that quadrant, from that group. There's going to be crickets. No answer. Nope. But for those of us who can think independently, yeah, we can discuss it. All right. And are you going to make bone points with stone tools? I've been waiting and waiting. Somebody to make the bone points with stone tools. Yeah, I will. Okay. I've been waiting too. It's not fun. Why? Because I can't really sell them for much money if I want to, recoup my losses. I lose money if I make bone points compared to stone points. Why am I concerned with money? Because I don't have a 9-to-5 job right now. I got my little business going, doing this kind of stuff. That's why. We'll see. On the ranch, there's some areas that look pretty good that I can actually find a place to sit down with a big rock and start making some bone points, because they need to be ground down on a big rock. Grinding them with little teeny rocks takes forever. I need a big old rock, and there's plenty of those at the ranch. It gives me a big old area to grind them down, because I hold them and I'll show you, but I hold them and I grind them over a large area, or large circles, not little like this, but large circles, large sweeping motions. It doesn't take very long when you have a large stone to grind it on. I don't have large stones in my yard, or large enough, 3 feet wide or more, with a flat surface. There's some spots on the ranch that have big stones. I just need to go and grind them down a little bit flatter with another stone. Just take some time and flatten them out, and then I can start grinding these bone arrowheads. Okay? So yeah, I am going to make them with stone tools. I can cheat and use the slab concrete I've got in my backyard, because there's some slabs back there. I say some. A lot of the covered area that we have in the backyard is a concrete slab, and we have a concrete patio in the back. You got tons of concrete that I can be, grinding the bone on, but that's cheating. It's not a stone tool. The purists are going to go, that's not stone, so it's not authentic. It's not. I want to see the real thing. Yeah, I know. I get it. Why do I make the funny voice? Make fun of people? Because it stresses me out to do projects like that until I actually finish. Then, excellent, I'm done. But during the process, I don't know if you know me or not, but I don't enjoy the journey. I enjoy the result. Yeah, the journey can bite me. You should enjoy the journey. Yeah. Sorry, I don't. Okay. That's thin enough for now. I'm going to regularize it. Yeah, one of the reasons, I'll tell you a little secret. One of the reasons why I don't like the journey, it's not because I don't like it, it's because I don't like interruptions. If I'm going to get deep and go deep into something, and spend time to be particular and exact and authentic and la la la, all that. If I become interrupted while I'm doing it, that's like one of the worst feelings for me personally. That's the secret. I hate, almost more than anything, being interrupted while I'm doing something, while I'm in the mode or the zone. When I'm in the zone and I get interrupted, it's just like you're it's just like, you know, I'm trying to cook something and you just tip it over onto me. Like I'm cooking a nice pot of sauce, beautiful sauce, simmering it, adding spices and tasting it, making sure it's just perfect. And you come along and smack the bowl and it spills all over me with searing hot liquid. Yeah, that's what being interrupted feels like, no matter what I'm doing. Yeah, it's traumatizing. That's why I don't like the journey. Now you know. If I wasn't interrupted, the journey's fine. It's good. I can enjoy it. And now that the kids are grown, and now that I can put my phone on airplane mode and not feel guilty, I can enjoy this more. And I can make bow and arrowheads. Yeah. That sort of thing. Take a deep dive into pressure flaking. Patterned flaking that requires you to be in the zone. Yeah. Some people, interruptions are not a problem. It's ironic because I can be sitting there and my brain changes the channel on me. I can be sitting there listening to a lecture or listening to something, and also my brain will change channels. I'll think of something else, and I'll completely zone out, and I won't hear what's going on in the lecture. Or I'm watching a video, and my brain switches channels on me, and I'm thinking about something else. I can come back. It interrupts me in that way, but that's an internal interruption. It somehow it's not the same. Yeah, it's frustrating, but it's not frustrating in the same way. I don't know how to explain it. No. It's not a conundrum. What is it when it's ironic? Yes, but what is it when something doesn't make any sense in that way? You know, I hate being interrupted, but then my brain interrupts me just out of the blue. It just changes the channel on me just at random, and I get distracted. We used to have to change the channel with a dial. In case you're wondering what that is, that's the changing of the channel with a dial on the old TVs and stuff. You young people don't know what that is. But yeah. It's a paradox? I don't know. I got a lot of artifact videos to do. And there's some artifacts in the collection that I've got that I borrowed from a friend of mine. Some artifacts that are made from this kind of stuff. Yeah. In fact, there's several made of stuff that looks just like this. I'm not going to be chipping on them to see if it's heat treated. Because there's a distinct difference in the way it naps, even though it may look the same between the raw stuff and the heat treat. There's a distinct difference, and I could tell probably right away if I were to chip on the artifacts if it felt heat treated or not. You know, if I did a pass along the edge on one of the artifacts like this, I could say, this feels heat treated, or this feels definitely raw. But I'm not going to ruin the artifacts, and I'm not going to do that. Not even on my own personal artifacts. I will do it on stuff that looks like this, that are artifacts. Like this is probably an artifact, because this is what was the original surface from this particular piece on the ranch. So it looks like it's been worked on this side. By humans in the past. That stuff I'll modify, because there's lots of those out there, and they don't really mean much because they're not finished pieces. They're found on the surface. There's no context. There's no provenance or provenience or whatever you call it. So you don't know what time period, you don't know what culture, blah, blah, blah. So they're not really useful in terms of archaeology. So I can modify those without feeling guilty. Yeah. Anyways, I also was looking at a report, or not a report, an article on the similarities between North Alaskan artifacts and artifacts across the Bering Strait in Asia. The similarities between the two. To what extent are they similar? Can we actually say they're similar, even though they look similar? Are they actually preforms for the same things? Or are they different? Did they actually have much contact with people from Asia or not? Did they become isolated right away after crossing over into the new world? Did they break all ties, or did they migrate back and forth? It's hard to tell from the artifacts because, for one, the data, the pictures and the drawings and the analysis of the sites is kind of chaotic. They don't really have a set procedure. For example, in Russia, on how to do the archaeology. And a lot of that is true in the U.S. as well. There's no, what the author called, there's no archaeological epistemology as far as the techniques of how to record the data, what to record, in other words, how much of it, and is it useful for archaeologists in other countries? Because they don't all study the same stuff in the same ways. They have different ways of interpreting data. It gets complicated. So he was saying that it's difficult to figure out if they're actually similar or not just by looking at the lithics, if the cultures are similar. And I'm saying, bingo. Yes, that's very true. I mean, that is true. If you don't have a consistent way of recording the data, it's hard to communicate with each other. or to make a, you know, apples to apples comparison. You get apples to oranges comparisons, and it really doesn't give you much insight. Not that studying lithics gives you much insight to begin with, because there's so much that is missing in the context. You know, you don't know what the, for instance, you don't know what the hafting looks like. You don't know if these things were attached to thick shafts or thin shafts, hand thrown spears or at ladle thrown spears. You don't know if these points were multi-purpose, you know, both spear points and knives, for example, or just knives or just spear points. Some have written reports that, or written articles that say that there's a good chance that the bow and arrow came over with the earliest migrations into the New World. So that's, you know, tens of thousands of years ago. And there's small points that would indicate that maybe the bow came over with the first migrations, but we don't know. Some site studies don't have any data on the organic materials, just the stone. So they don't know what kind of woods were present during that time. If there was a lot of forest or something that would justify or indicate that there was material available for bows and that sort of thing. You know, of course you can make bows from horn and antler, but I don't know. I don't know how far the composite bow goes back in time. Nobody knows. I was looking up blowguns also. There's a lot of blowgun enthusiasts that say, oh yeah, there were stone points on blowgun darts. Of course, it's usually with the enthusiasts, the ones that are into making the blowguns stuff. You got a little bit of a bias there. But I don't know. I don't know how to answer those questions. The way I've been answering them lately is I'd say no, there's no evidence for stone on blowgun darts unless you look or listen to people who say that there were. But there are some Native Americans that say, yeah, my ancestors used stone on their blowgun darts. You got to take their word for it. How far back does it go? It may only go back a little ways. It may not go back as in time far enough for the age of the arrowheads, those little bitty arrowheads that they're trying to analyze. The blowgun might not be that old. Or the blowgun might have come over with the original migrations. We don't know. You know, and when you're analyzing a site, you might miss telltale signs of blowguns, because you don't think these Paleo Indians were blowgun users. Why would you be looking for blowgun evidence? But if you're not looking for it and it's there, you won't see it. You'll think it's something else. Oh yeah, these long skinny shafts are just hairpins. Yeah. Something like that. Everything is up in the air. So mostly what is written, I think, mostly what is written today in the archaeological studies is basically science fiction. Yeah. Based on scientific discovery, but interpreted in such a way that it amounts to science fiction. The same thing. Educated guesses, speculations based on evidence, and creating a scenario that's attractive to readers, and I think it's cool. Science fiction. And as long as you're wearing a lab coat, yeah, you're good. Isn't this science? That science fiction was cool, man. Thanks. I was wearing my lab coat too. Really? Yeah. That makes it even more scientifical. Yeah, I know. Right? That's the conversation. Yeah. You guys in the back, you're rolling your eyeballs. Yeah, I know. I know, I see you back there. I see you. A lot of eyeball rolling. Yeah, you can bite me. I'm just speculating. Okay? Giving you my opinions. Everyone's got their opinions. Yeah, I know. But I got to talk about something. During these Yap videos, I don't have to talk about stuff. I can do silent videos. A lot of you guys don't like it. Yeah. You can't have noise in the background if there's not any noise. Yeah. This little, chipping and grinding isn't enough. You got to have something else. Yeah. A little bit of yep. Okay. So there is the basic shape. Okay. So it takes me almost an hour to do the basic shape by being very, very careful not to get too thin and making sure that I'm at least an inch wide, because I like to get used to that just in case I need to make hunting points. Hint, hint. I don't get used to making them too small. All right, let's do the measure. Yeah, it's over an inch. See, I'm used to it already. Yeah, I'm used to it. All right, we're gonna get rid of the writing on here, hopefully. Now, sometimes this doesn't work. Why doesn't it work sometimes? Because the stone absorbs the ink, and it's been heat treated. No, I wrote it after the heat treat, which is good. Sometimes when I write it and then heat treat, it bakes the ink into the stone. Yeah, and then there's no way of getting it out. You got to flake it off. But in this case, I'm using some acetone. It should work. Ah, yes. Voila. There you go. Acetone works real good on Sharpie. But Sharpie is not true black, as you can see. It's dark purple. So don't use it to paint your foreshafts, because it looks weird. Or, make black stripes or whatever on your arrows. It looks weird. You got to use true black. Black leather dye or something like that. archival ink, India ink, anything like that. If you want true black. Just FYI. What am I doing? I'm sharpening it. So it's all sharply done. Sharply done. It's a Flintknapping term. Sharply. The edge treatment is sharply done. Yeah. Get a spelling bee. How do you spell sharply? Use it in a sentence. The edge treatment on the stone arrowhead was sharply done. There you go. Where's Nacho? I'm not going to use Nacho on this. I got to modify one. Let's see. I got 2 nachos on here, right? I own 2 nachos. I'm going to make one pointy and leave one spatula. Yeah. One pointy and one spatula. I'm going to start using the pointy one. See how that works. Maybe I'll make a Calf Creek or Andice or Bell. Yep. Maybe. How badly do you want it to see that? Really, really bad? I might wait a long time then. Yeah. The worse you want it, the longer I'm going to wait. Oh, dang it. That's what I get for messing around. This is crackly. So now you know, if you heat treat stone like this, it's going to be crackly. I'm trying to think if the base is concave or convex on these or straight. I think they're concave a little bit. Yeah. Okay. I'll get back to that in a minute. The good part about it is when I go to match it on the other side, it's not too hard to match it. What did I do? I got some deer meat boiling on the stove and I can smell it from here. Yeah, it has a distinct odor. The deer meat. The venison. Growing up, deer meat was venison. No one called it deer meat. I get to the south and everyone calls it deer meat. Venison? It's not no venison, it's deer meat. You don't say, I got lots of venisons in the backyard. Look at them venisons eating my flowers. English is strange because it has French words in it, right? That venison is a French word, or it comes from the French. Oh no, what did I do? Okay. Dang it. I gotta take back that whole edge now. Okay. Okay, crackly crapiola. It's crackly crapiola. The stone is crackly crapiola. I should finish the notch before I do this. I might break it again. Yeah. Let's just finish the notch out. Well, it's harder to do the symmetry that way. Hold on. I gotta know. I mean, I gotta remember not to push so hard on the notch. Not to pressure flake with that much pressure. Make the base concave. It doesn't help that the stone is the same color as the pad. It doesn't help. It flakes so easily though, so it doesn't matter. I mean, I can see it a little, I can see it well enough, and it flakes well enough that that doesn't really hurt. That I can't see it perfectly. The more difficult it is to knap the stone, the more vital it is to actually see what you're doing. But if it's kind of easy to knap, you don't need to see that well. Besides, it probably should have been narrower anyway. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. Whatever. Any excuse is a good excuse. I stalled it. I need to use the nacho. Come on. I don't want to use it though because now I'm scared. I got reports of exploding arrowheads, and now I'm going, dang it, I don't want to explode this one. I know what, I need to grind this down sharper. That's the problem. See, in Flintknapping we have problems. There we go. That'll grip the edge better. The edge inside the notch. Right? Hopefully. No. It didn't do it. Okay. You're going to be stubborn, huh? Yeah, it was too fat to begin with. It's fatter on that side. I wasn't careful enough to make it regular enough. Just a little bit of difference in thickness can make a big difference in notching. It makes you take the risks that you don't want to take. It makes you. Yeah. I took down that side. Now I can try some thinning flakes. Yeah. Let's try some thinning flakes. First on one side, then the other. Why on one side then the other? Because one side needed to be thinned more than the other at that particular point or that particular juncture. Ah, yes. Indirect is so good. Oh, yeah. So good. So nice. I got you. It's James Brown, right? I feel good. Let's see, one more. It's gonna make me try for one more. It's not my fault because it made me do it. Still didn't get to that area of the notch that I needed to. Both of these are supposed to fan out more. This last one there and this down here is supposed to fan out. What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? It only went a little ways. It's supposed to go up that ridge. It's supposed to. Some people insist I have complete control over every flake. I don't. I can say I do, and you'll never know. Yeah. And you'll go, oh, that napper over there says he's in control of it, so you must be too. You must be lying. Yeah, well, it's not me that's lying. You ever thought of that? Did you think of that one? Crickets. Okay. Okay. I managed to grip the edge with this thinner steel and it popped out a good flake. That's a relief because from there it's thin enough that I can pop out other ones. As long as I don't apply too much pressure, I can take advantage of that thin spot. Too much pressure will snap off something. It'll wrap around too much or it'll snap across the neck or something. Alright, so here we go. It's starting to work in my favor. Did it do it? Oh, I tried to do it. It's supposed to pop out a bigger one. Yep. I'm hoping for the best. I don't always get it. almost the whole arrowhead is done that way, where you hope for the best. Almost. You know, these little flakes to sharpen it, they're pretty regular and predictable. But this kind of stuff, this is dicey. Good enough. Yeah. Symmetry. Okay. This is the delicate part. Okay. Nice. Come on. Yeah, there's little step fractures, but oh well. See, I did not need a space heater for this whole thing because I'm sweating it right now. Why? Because I could accidentally take a bite out of the edge trying to do these thinning and shaping pressure flakes at the same time. Thinning, shaping, and sharpening flakes at the same time. I'm going to put in what appear to be intentional serrations, but they're not really that intentional. It's just a pass of pop outs. Because it scoops out the edge when you do pop outs. It makes it thin. Makes the very leading edge thin. And you can tell the difference between a non-thinned edge and a thinned edge by feel. And the easiest way to thin that edge is to do a series of pop outs that have little bulbs. And it looks like serrations. Now it could be that they were doing serrations and pop outs at the same time. You know, killing two birds with one stone. That's possible. So easy to dull it when you're trying to sharpen it. It's easy to do the opposite. Yeah, if you hear a crunchiness instead of a snap, sometimes it indicates that you're dulling it instead of sharpening it. If you hear a little crunch, yeah, supposed to snap like that. Snap, snap, not crunch, crunch. All right, so there it is. I could do the fancy tip. Sometimes they put heavy serrations near the tip on these. But it's already 1 hour and 21 minutes. Yeah, I don't want to mess with it. I'll sharpen the tip more. But that's it. That is it. Yeah. I've got one like this in my collection. Except I think in my personal collection. I think this is a little more concave. It's supposed to be anyway. Yeah, okay. I got you. So these notches were made without the notch-o-matic. It's ironic that the last flakes on here are the ones that created the step fractures. That you see. These thinning flakes, because the hardest part of the flake to control is the termination. Right? There's no room for damage control, so I can't take flakes from the other side to try to get rid of those little fingernail step fractures. So you got to leave them in. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so the final dimensions. Still just slightly over 1 inch by 2 inches. Yeah, perfect. Is it translucent? Only around the edges. Yep. Okay. This one's not going to be available in the auction. This is for a friend of mine. Okay. Just FYI. I'll make a bunch more stuff. This is only Thursday, right? So I got time to make a bunch more stuff. Okay, so there you go. That's it.